This program is made possible in part by a community service grant from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and AETN viewer contributions.
I've married more couples than anybody in Stone County, or I would dare say anybody in Arkansas. Who gives the bride away?
I do. Wesley or
We have to pay our last. I have conducted more funerals than anybody in Stone County, or I dare say in Arkansas. Resurrection from the dead. Our Lord and Savior. I've cut down more trees than any man in Stone County or the state of Arkansas. I would put that up against anybody.
There's no reason to doubt Loyd Nesbitt when he claims something to be true. Ask anyone around Mountain View. Sure, he's a storyteller, good one, but he's also a preacher. And lying and preaching don't mix in the Ozarks.
When I was 8 and 10 years old, I helped my father cut down trees with a crosscut saw. At one time, they sawed more barrel staves than any other one place, and also shipped more cross ties from Sillamore down here than any other point anywhere. But that's all faded now. They all got too old to do it but me.
Crosscut saw has been exchanged for chainsaw, wagon for a '54 Chevy. The timber becomes shipping crates. Now Loyd's partner is his wife Lola. Regardless of the changes, Loyd can still claim he logs the old-timey way.
In the immediate area, I don't believe there's anybody that's skidding with a horse and loading by hand like we're doing now. At first, I was afraid that he might be skittish and jump or something, but I went.
Red is 3 years old. Loyd's been working him for about a year and a half.
One Saturday morning, I was riding him down the road and paying no attention to what I was doing, watching the birds fly over and not even holding on to him or anything. And some little rabbit jumped up the bank right by him, and just right quick he jumped up to run, and the horse jumped quicker than lightning and jumped just as high as he could and sideways, and me loose, I wasn't holding to anything. He just pitched me way on up yonder. I changed ends and came down on my head. That really jarred me up. He will pull every pound he can, as young as he is. Most horses won't do that. They don't learn how to pull until later. And he'll go to the bottom of the deepest hollers here and can skid a log out of there. He's stout, able.
Usually, while Red and Loyd are skidding, Lola makes good use of the time to crochet, something for herself that inevitably goes to one of the grandchildren. Now, regarding the grandchildren, there's a point of contention.
And she enjoyed bragging about more grandchildren than I had. Well, about that time, my great-grandchildren began to be born. And I told her now that a great-grandchild was another generation down, and that counted 2.
As much as they like to tease each other, they are a team, working together, looking out for one another.
sometimes when we're cutting timber, maybe cutting a tree down, it falls past the top of another tree, and it'll bend it way over, and then a limb will break and come back and stick in the ground about a foot deep right by you. Then you wake up, you quit watching buzzards and paying no attention to what you're doing then after that.
Now, I told you Loyd's a good storyteller, and once you get him talking about the woods, he's bound to tell you about the Batesville Break.
But when I cut the white oak down and cut it clear of the stump as it went down, then the butt of it didn't mash the brush pile down. The limbs were larger than I thought, and it sprang back up, and the white oak slid towards me, and I jumped backwards to get out of the way, but I didn't get hardly far enough. Wound up in the Mountain View Hospital, and they looked at it a little while, some of the doctors, and somebody said it's a Batesville break. They were equipped at Batesville to fix that broken leg like it was broke, and at Mountain View they're not, so they called it a Batesville break, and I didn't know what they meant by a Batesville break. I thought it was a white oak break. That's what
That was over 3 years ago. No break, white oak, or Batesville is going to keep Loyd down. Once the truck's loaded, it's off to Tinkle Mill, usually 2 trips a day, year-round, 6 days a week. And on the 7th day, Loyd stops sawing and goes to saving.
thing is, what must I do to be saved? Now, the passage of Scripture I would refer to as a text is the 16th chapter of the Acts of the Apostles and the 31st verse, where my first effort in preaching was when I was 17 years old, and the community all wanted to hear me preach my first sermon. I preached on the subject of faith. So surely, in this land of ours, in the ungodly, depraved condition that this society lives in today, who among us could claim to live as righteous as the Pharisees and Sadducees? Certainly, I do not believe there would be any. Truly, on the way back to the house, while we were walking along the road, and I overheard the singing school teacher ask my dad what he thought of my sermon. He said, "Shucks, I could have done better myself," my dad did.
Loyd went to seminary when he was 18. 3 weeks shy of earning his degree, he dropped out to harvest a cotton crop.
But where my ministry's been, my efforts in preaching, a whole lot like this here, and a Doctor of Divinity's degree would have been against me, actually, in places where I was, I guess.
A degree is unnecessary for Loyd. His congregation is satisfied with him as is, satisfied and appreciative of his integrity and sincerity. Glad to have an opportunity to give Loyd something in return. It's not often you get to surprise someone on his 73rd birthday.
Well, now somebody else will have to cut the cake, knows what they're doing. Is that the idea?
Yeah, we'll just...
I'll let some of you ladies do that. And if I was cutting that for myself, for sure, it would have been a little too large.
Come on, you've been in the woods. You shouldn't...
So, I'll let you... I was born to one of the deepest canyons over there in these Ozarks. That I was born right to the bottom of that canyon down there where my grandpa Harper lived. And I tell folks sometimes that some people don't get very far in life, and I'm one of them.
What a difference a day made. 24 little hours.
Most radio stations are pure business, slick, packaged, and impersonal. But in some Arkansas towns, and in fact throughout rural America, the past is still being queued up, and the present is just a turntable away. Audiences are neighbors, not numbers. Scratched records and static are like wrinkles and memories. There is a welcome anachronism broadcasting in the Delta from dawn till dusk. The history of KVSA is not just chronological data. It's a family portrait. Abbott Kinney has owned and operated the station since it signed on.
This is the voice of Southeast Arkansas, KVSA 1220 on your dial. McGee, Arkansas, located on US Highway 65, halfway between McGee and Dermont, 10 minutes before 12 noon. Now to the trading post on Trader Abbott.
Thank you, James Honey. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Dermont Co-op Store's Trading Post on this beautiful October 15th.
Week went on there on June the 29th, 1953, and it has seemed like such a short time.
Over the years, the station has been a second home for Abbott, his wife Dorothy, and daughters Colleen, Rosemary, and Joyce.
I have two other sisters, Colleen and Rosemary, and we even had programs on the station. We still have some of those tapes. She had a program called Date with Colleen, and she had that till she graduated from high school. And then I picked it up, and it was Journey with Joyce. And I had it till I graduated in '65, and then my sister Rosemary was Rendezvous with Rosemary.
And here she is, Colleen Kinney.
Thank you, and hello, everybody. This is Colleen Kinney inviting you to our weekly date. My two sisters are here with me this morning for this Mother's Day program. So, Joyce and Rosemary, tell the folks hello. Joyce? Good morning, everyone. Rosemary?
Hello, everybody.
Now, let's get the musical portion of this Mother's Day program underway. Close your eyes and go to sleep, my angel. It's getting...
We're real interested and committed into preserving the historical part of this music, and at the same time we want to keep growing. We like the new things too, but we don't ever want to let go of the past because we think it's wonderful. But we also know that preserving it's one thing, if you don't share it, it's no good.
We are proud of our record collection, and we have people from all over the United States, in fact some in Europe, want to buy some of them. Why we don't sell them, I don't know, because they offer us more money than the station's worth, but we have sentimental value.
And hurt myself at play. I just cry and grumble, but she kisses my tears away.
You've just heard Meet the Artist, 30 minutes of favorites by one of your favorite artists for this morning, Anne Murray. This is the voice of Southeast Arkansas, KVSA 1220 on your dial.
Upon completion of my high school, I went to Drone School of Radio in Little Rock, completed the course there, and got a job at KFFA at Helena, worked there 2 years. From there I went to Pine Bluff, sell insurance for a couple of years, then here at KVSA in April of 1956, and I've been here ever since.
Listen on the latest news from the KVSA newsroom. James Hunt reporting several defendants in a suit.
I've been interviewed for 2 or 3 different larger markets, but I'd go and look them over, and I don't know, there's something that didn't appeal to me. I always come back to the hometown type atmosphere.
And the cold front caused no rainfall.
We had dance party out here, kids from all over Southeast Arkansas. At that time we had live bands, and I mean live bands, I mean with the formal dress, formal clothes, formal suits. In the daytime, white coats with bow ties.
My scout master, Roy Tullis, recommended me to Mr. Kinney for this job. I came out, had an interview with him, and all of a sudden I was just living in this excited world of a 10th grader who had an opportunity to be a disc jockey.
At 16, passed for 84 degrees at KVSA Studios.
Mr. Kinney, after the interview, decided that I could handle it, so we just started in, and we've been doing it since 1962. I call myself full-time, part-time help.
I would like to mention before we go any further that I regret that Mrs. Linda Stevens is camera shy. We're very proud of her. She's our program manager, our sales manager. She does the logs. I couldn't undertake to tell you everything that she does.
I hope you do believe me. I've given you my heart.
There is a reassuring constancy to KVSA, a quaint mixture of rekindled dreams and expectant hopes. Thousands of recordings settled in immutable rows. History and memory imperceivably tucked between. Stacks of 45s assembled like oversized erector sets into towers and tunnels. A mostly mute studio resounds with images of more carefree times, when Elvis was a mere prince, Cactus Vic was king cowboy of the birthday circuit, and the local radio station was a welcome voice at the supper table.
I hope you do believe me. I've given you my
Big city living. Neighbors are nuisances. Fences become fortresses. Stress is a constant. And time is consumed like fast food. It's called progress. But there are still places in Arkansas where the sun languishes on the horizon. The commonplace is sublime, and conversation, like time, is nurtured. Columbus is such a place. Only miles from hope, it seems worlds away. A four-pump town settled in the early 1800s by Johnsons, Stewarts, Witherspoons, Brunsons, and Cheathams, names that are still a part of the day-in, day-out comings and goings. The day officially begins at 7 a.m. when Thomas Edwin Jackson opens for business, the family business, originally owned by his grandfather and then his uncle.
It was typical of many towns across the South in that it had the cotton plantations, the sharecroppers, the gin, the general store that had the certain more or less aristocracy or upper class that controlled both the economy and the politics. I don't think Columbus is typical at all anymore.
Mornings are pretty quiet at the store. The U.S. Post Office rules the AM at Columbus. Crit, the postmaster, isn't just in charge of the mail. He's in charge of the porch.
One with the cushion in, that's supposed to be Mr. Leo Evans, the mayor. This one's whoever gets it first.
It's 8:30, just like Crit says. You can set your watch when you see the mayor come around the bend. He's not really the mayor, just a title of respect. There isn't any mayor in Columbus. As a local said, we live in a state of anarchy. No police, no law, no government, and we like it.
Good evening.
Howdy, Doctor.
Stepping like, you stepping like it this evening?
No, stepping like morning. My evenings always give out.
A regular bunch of anarchists waiting for the mail. Mr. Hawthorne, the mayor, and Saki.
He's the only man in Columbus that's got a government position with a good retirement, and his wife making a living for him honky-tonking his money. There he is, got 3,400 acres of land out there, pasture-free.
3 or 400?
3,400 acres.
Oh, 3,400. Now you're talking to me. Sitting on top of the world with his feet hanging down and don't know it.
You'll have a big time.
Yeah.
Well, this fella here thought he was boss at his house. He called himself Commander-in-Chief for 40 years till he found out different.
What happened?
Well, he and his wife drove up here one day, and I asked her how was the Commander-in-Chief. She said, I'm doing all right, so I put a stop to it right there.
He's standing right up out there, close to her, and he never said a word.
So they pop a lot of hot air goes on around here. Certain people, though, just puts out that hot air.
Yeah, we all know who it is, too.
When the mail arrives, an unwritten cue is given.
While he's in there, I better go get them stamps. I need some stamps up there.
The pace quickens.
Hear you snoring up there in that chair.
And then it's over.
How are you doing? Did you bring me a picture? Yeah.
The scene shifts to the store. It's hot and it's nearing noon.
Well, I grew up here in the last stages of the great cotton empire of the South, and as early childhood, this was a very busy place. The general store was the center of activity. People would come in on Saturdays and buy all their supplies, mostly on credit to be paid off in the fall.
6 and 7. Thank you. Appreciate it.
The store has changed some. Harnesses and sewing cloth have been replaced with fan belts and beauty aids. There are still the staples, the canned goods, and of course, they still offer credit.
I do more than probably is wise. Prudence would dictate that I eliminated credit altogether. However, being somewhat soft of heart, maybe soft of mind, I have a hard time turning these people down when they're pretty desperate for something, and we can help them out.
Afternoons at the store are pretty much like mornings at the post office, just a different cast of characters. The Johnson brothers, descendants of one of the original families, drop in. Mr. Jackson's uncle, Charlie Wilson, comes by. He used to own the store. the cotton gin, a farm. He's what they call a real old-timer.
My daddy and mother had 11 children, and I'm the youngest one. And I'm the only one that's left, that 11. And I had a cousin, Uncle John Stewart, lived right up the street here. He used to live out on the Holman farm. And I think they were on kind of a race, see which one could have most children. Uncle John had 14 children, because he had one set of twins. That helped a little bit. And there's only one of those 14 children left, and she's in Chicago and in a nursing home and not doing too well.
There's nothing like the tranquility of the South, a tranquility born of harmony, shared heritage, and hot summer days that, like conversation, fade into sunset.
Look like I kid you. You know, did I tell you?